Correct. And this is how I got my check.
All right, get a check. All right, get a check.
Call R.C. Johnson and Associates, 478-257-6266.
Now you know who to call.
Call R.C. Johnson and Associates.
I'll write that number on the wall.
All right, get a check. All right, get a check. Get that check, boy.
And this is how I got my check.
Call R.C. Johnson and Associates, 478-257-6266. 478-257-6266. And get that check.
Mabel Randall is on the Glory, 980 AM WDDO. Don't miss Mabel Randall every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Don't miss this amazing show only on the Glory, 980 AM WDDO.
Let's spotlight your church and your pastor. That's every Thursday at 9:15. The most people that call in with their church name, their church pastor, we will spotlight you on 107.9 FM on your dial and your church. That's 9:15. That's Walking Down the Lane right here with Vertice Z. Rosiel. See you there.
Dad always said there's two ways you can practice law. You can either be a jerk or you can be a gentleman. I prefer the latter. If you need us, the Dozier Law Firm is here for you.
I don't think I used the word jerk.
This is where the community is connected. 980 AM WDDO.
Looking for transportation and you're getting ready to travel?
Book Roscoe Tours.
If you're looking to take a group.
Book Roscoe Tours.
If you're getting ready to go to a family reunion.
Book Roscoe Tours.
If the church want to go somewhere.
Book Roscoe Tours.
If you're getting ready to go on a cruise.
Book Roscoe Tours.
So every need that you have for travel, you need to
book Roscoe Tours.
That Roscoe Tours, 478-227-4050. That's 478-227-4050. Wherever you want to go, just
book Roscoe Tours.
The sales team of the Glory WDDO 980 AM is waiting to make your business, your church, your ministry part of the Glory family. Let us advertise for you. Call the sales team today at 678-800-3976. Let's make this happen with 980 AM WDDO, the Glory. Roscoe's tour buses are moving safely. Do you have a church group, family reunion, or just a Saturday getaway? Roscoe's Tours is waiting to book your travel today. Local and distance trips, clean, reliable buses ready to go. Call Roscoe's Tours today at 404-304-5600. That's 404-304-5600. Roscoe's Tour Buses.
It's a public invitation for everyone to turn into the flow of WDDO.
Let me sing. God will make it all right. I know the Lord will. He'll make it all right. Thank you, Jesus. God will. He'll make it all right. I know the Lord will. He'll make it all right. Somebody been going through the day. I come to tell you, God will. He'll make it all right. I know he will. And I promise to go on through as long as thank you, Jesus. Long as I've got away. Thank you, Jesus. I believe he will. Thank you, Lord. One verse right here. There was a time in my life. Thank you, Jesus. Troubles and trials had got me down. You know what I did? I called on the master, y'all, and he heard me, and he promised me that he was still around. He told me, Tim, don't worry, I'm gonna make it all right. Ooh, thank you, Jesus. I'm talking to someone over here.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Welcome to the Issues of Life broadcast with your host, Evelyn Reid. This show will address health, religious, and political issues that our communities face daily. Let's go live into the studio with your host, Evelyn Reid, for the Issues of Life broadcast, right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM, WDDO.
Welcome again to the Issues of Life, and we thank God for you being here and listening to the broadcast. I'm here today with the retired Brigadier General, Reverend Jonathan McCoy.
Good afternoon.
Reverend Warren Hamilton here with us.
Good afternoon.
Today, and Pastor Dunning is on his way to New Orleans. We pray that you have a safe and prosperous trip as he's traveling. And we hope that you had a good day so far. And we got a nice topic we're going to be talking about that the General wants to lead the discussion today, and we're going to turn it over to him in just a second. But I do want to ask you, did your team win? Mine did.
Yes. Mine did too.
I was pulling for the New York Knicks.
My goodness.
I mean, after 53 years, that's a long time to go without a championship. So what you thought of the game, Reverend? See, you played basketball, so what you thought of the game?
Pretty much what I thought was spot on, because it's like anything else in life. You have to know how to win. You have to pay your dues sometime. And San Antonio's got a great team. They're young, but they just don't know how to win yet. They had the opportunities, they couldn't close it out. And they'll learn, though. They're the team of the future.
Yeah, well, New York had 53 years to learn, so that was good.
I tell you what, man, I love the big playoffs, the finals. I love them. But I tell you what, I don't like a final where there is no competition. And I did not like that thing was over too quickly. San Antonio lost every single game at home and went away and lost it. Before we knew it, it was all over. I just wanted one more good game. Now basketball is over until next year for the men's part at least. So, but it was good. But it just goes to show you gotta play team ball, and you gotta play like you gotta play offense and defense the whole time. And San Antonio didn't, and the Knicks really proved that they wanted to win.
You have to pay your dues in anything you desire to do in life. And the Knicks have paid their dues. They hadn't won in 50-some years. And whoever, can't think of the guy's name now, they put that team together. He did an awesome job.
Yeah. And the star player for the Knicks took a salary cut so that he can get some quality players to be a supporting cast for him. And so it was nice to see, after
Absolutely,
53 years and to see Clyde Frazier, still in the 1970 suits and stuff.
I believe something wrong with him.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm glad that nobody in Macon, Georgia went to burn up a bus or anything crazy. I tell you what, people celebrate. I just don't understand. But the Knicks, and congratulations to them.
It was a long time in coming, but it finally got here. So I was happy for them, simply because it's been so long since they won a championship. Now, had they played the Hawks, I'd have been for the Hawks and said, let's go for 54. But since the Hawks was not there, so anyway, I was glad to see that. It was a long time coming. Now you have something you like to
Sure. Why don't we first we thank God for the United States of America. This discussion today, we want to invite you to be a part of the discussion. If you'd like to, feel free to join in. Call us at 478-250-1444. That's 478-250-1444. This past Sunday, we celebrated Flag Day, and Flag Day is not necessarily a federal holiday, but it is on the calendar as our holiday, and it's acknowledged annually by the President of the United States, and that's what it was this past Sunday. And we thank God for the United States and the flag for what it represents, freedom and justice for all. And as we try to get more and more justice and more enjoying the benefits and privileges that we do enjoy. But we want to talk about something that's coming up this weekend. It's called Juneteenth.
Okay.
Juneteenth. It's held on June 19th. Juneteenth is celebrated as a federal holiday now. It's probably been celebrated now 2 years. Under the Biden administration, it was made a federal holiday, although it's been practiced for quite some time. And I think it's had bilateral support for a holiday. And Joe Biden just got to it first and made it a federal holiday. And what Juneteenth means and how it's defined. And we can talk about why it's celebrated, how it's celebrated, and give the in-depth meaning of it. But just to give you a definition, Juneteenth is June 19th. It represents the day where the Emancipation Proclamation was actually defended by the Union soldiers to free the slaves, especially in Texas, the remaining slaves in Texas. And that date was in 1865, June 19th, 1865, where a major general who was a Union general officer was able to begin in Texas freeing the remaining slaves. As we know, the Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves, was supposed to free the slaves in the South, but it did not completely take place until the 13th Amendment was enacted. We can talk about that later, but we can talk about how to celebrate Juneteenth and what it's all about and what it means to the United States in general, what it means to cultures, what does it mean? I think it's a holiday by which we can bring people together. Now, we can start right there. Does Juneteenth really bring people together under its definition? And how does it impact us? And how should we celebrate Juneteenth? And I'll just throw that out right now, gentlemen, and we can tackle it from there.
I think it can bring people together because, it's history. And it shows how far we as a nation has come. Okay, no nation is perfect. We still got flaws and things that every nation can get better as time goes on. But yeah, I think it can, depending on how you look at it, it can really bring people together because it shows there were people that were willing to die to get rid of slavery in this country, and many of them did die. And either out of the flaws and wounds, the black eye that we've had in this nation, the Lord has really blessed us to get as far as we've come.
What do you think, man?
I think it brings us together also because if it had not have been for Juneteenth, some people wouldn't have changed. They never would have acknowledged had the initiatives to change, cross barriers and, different people, different nationalities, as far as it goes. It helped the whole total. I don't think some of the Caucasians would be where they are as far as crossing that bridge to be letting blacks freedom to be actually free. We got some people still stuck because granddaddy and them ain't in them. But it helped. It brought some people together, and I'm glad about that because you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It laid the foundation for things to get better. Whether you'll get any better, I believe so. You can see it.
Right.
But like Reverend just said, you still got some people who stuck in their old ways.
Yeah.
On both sides.
On both sides.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah, and we do. And those of you who are out there who are listening to this, what is that? The fact of Juneteenth. That's what we want to talk about because we want to make sure that we're dealing with what it really, really is, and not what it not what we believe. Let me tell you first, I don't think that it is for one culture. I think it is for the whole United States of America. I think it's a time where the nation was going through a very difficult time. The nation was at war against itself. It's the one time where the United States was split with the North and the South wanted to secede from the Union. We call it the Civil War. And to me, one of the greatest president, I call him the greatest president. His name, Abraham Lincoln, made a determination that he was the first president to say, I've got to do something about this. And it's, it's consistent with the word of God. Anybody heard that scripture where Jesus said, if I'm lifted up, I will draw all men unto me? Well, I think that Juneteenth is consistent with that, because the president, Abraham Lincoln, and his wife was a part of that. And they knew that we cannot be two separate nations with somebody else not enjoying the benefits of the nation because as a result of the color of their skin. So Juneteenth, so the Emancipation Proclamation was the first arrow out of the quiver that put a dagger into slavery to end that mindset that people were property.
Yeah. I was thinking with England, England that codified slavery in the law, and a guy named William Wilberforce was very instrumental in getting slavery out of England. And I was wondering, trying to think of the timeline, did that help the United States start dealing with its issues with slavery, or did it come after Civil War?
I think it was before that. I think the nation had a heartache, was already hurting. There were certain people, they were called abolitionists. And these people were developing, they grew and developed an organization, and quite honestly, a political party came as a result of that. And the intent was, somebody knew that there was something not right about people being held as property.
Correct.
And as a result, this group called the abolitionists made a determination that they would continue to fight vigorously to try to end this. And even President Lincoln, if you didn't know what he really felt about this, do you remember when the Civil War ended? President Lincoln did not punish the Southern generals or the Southern military. What did he do? He sent Lee, who was the Southern general responsible for war, and the Northern general. They went to Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia, and they signed the end. And he told them to do what? Go home. Abraham Lincoln said, too many people have lost their lives, and the deaths from both sides were great. So he said, go home. Now that was a problem, because some people still from the South had that mentality that they lost, but they were still going to prevent Black people from enjoying the freedom that the Emancipation Proclamation and the war brought, which the war allowed. They should have been freed.
Yeah.
Does that make sense in history?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, if you like to join in on the conversation, add to the conversation. 478-250-1444. 478-250-1444. If you want to dialogue with the historian here, and and to help us out with the conversation. But yeah, America has come a long way.
It has.
It has. And, we still got a way to go. Like I was saying before we came on there, wherever there's people, you're gonna have problems.
Correct. Right.
And we continue to to do things to make life better for everybody. I was looking at some of those World Cup fans from all across the world, United States of America. They were coming.
That's right.
And to see how excited they were just to go to Walmart, Waffle House,
and Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's, yes.
Oh, Buc-ee's. I like Buc-ee's myself.
I do too.
Sometimes you don't appreciate your house that somebody comes in and start appreciating it. Then you say, well, I think I really like it here now.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the freedoms that we have,
right,
in those countries, and I thank God for the freedoms that I have. I have the freedom of speech.
Right.
freedom of to carry, the freedom of to worship freely, and freedom of religion. All of that. We got a bunch of freedoms here that a lot of people around the country, around the world, just don't have.
It's true.
We just gotta know what those freedoms are.
Right.
And a lot of times they're not telling us in some of these schools about the Constitution. They learn the Constitution. There's a free course online from Hillsdale College for those who are interested.
Right. That's a good
it's
reference.
Free. It's free, and they'll take you through the whole course of how the Constitution came about, yada yada yada, and all the amendments and whatever that we need to know. The Fifth Amendment, and all of that.
Right.
People say, I plead the Fifth. I mean, you ain't got to testify against yourself.
Right.
You ain't got to answer no question, right?
That's correct. Protect yourself.
Yeah, you protect yourself. You ain't got to do that. So, what is innocent to proving what? Guilty.
That's right.
You don't guilty, and then you got to prove your innocence. No, it's burdens upon the state to prove that you did what they say that you did. And a lot of countries don't have that. You guilty, so they go ahead and kill you.
That's right.
That sounds hard, but that's fact.
It's fact. Yeah, some of these countries they kill you. You go to Saudi Arabia, and you steal a 1 pack of Wrigley's chewing gum. They cut your hand off.
That's right. Hey, look. Even with this in the United States, we even allow and you can practice what we may deem insufficiently biblical, have a biblical worldview.
Correct.
And we don't do anything to you, and we don't want to do anything to you. There are people that have different practices, and that's just under the rule of law. We honor just people. And other countries, you can lose your life for certain things you practice, but not in the United States of America. It's not that the whole country may or may not support it. It's just that you have certain rights. You have you mentioned them, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, critical rights that we have. Right. So with that being said, and looking at this thing, Juneteenth, do you think that are we two different cultures, two different color Americas? Are we actually, have we moved toward, are we moving toward, or are we actually, can you say that we are one America, meaning our color? I know there are a lot of folk that want to separate us along the lines of color, race, and all the other things. Are we one or are we not? What do you think?
I don't think we won. I mean, but who am I? I believe yet we got some ways to go. And the reason I said that is because I've had this thing eaten at me. I remember a while back that somebody said that we're going to stop teaching Black history in colleges. And I couldn't understand why you would want to deprive these young Black and young whites the knowledge of what went on before they were born, way back when. I don't see where it could hurt. I can see where it could help. I think if they continue, which they didn't, teaching Black history, it would close that gap quicker of being two different nations, in one nation.
Interesting. So
I can't figure out. Can you give me any substantial?
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think that I think Black history is American history. That's my point. You just gave me that's a very good example. When we move to the point where Black history is American history, that we don't have just Black history. Otherwise, we have to study Irish history. We have to study Chinese history. We have to study, Asian history. Why can't we just study history? And then in that history, we just ensure that every piece, every major event, and we have to determine what that means, is just mentioned in history. I grew up and we studied. We studied the thing where, slavery. We studied the transition out of slavery. We studied those things. I guess there's an argument about how the depth of the study, I guess that's what people are questioning, the depth of study in history. I don't know.
But the depth excludes the truth.
Yeah. But sometimes people don't want to know the truth. And it's incumbent upon us to learn what happened Okay. And because one thing about history, you can't change history.
Can't change.
Your history is if it happened, it happened.
Yeah.
You can't change it now. You can't change what happened in the 1800s.
No.
Correct.
Or the 1900s. You just can't change it. Right? We learn from things that was wrong and try to make things better. And I think that's where we are. And we have to be very, very careful that we don't allow things that happened in the past to affect our present and our future negatively.
Right.
You don't think it has an effect on your mind about what they did to back then versus some of the things we're going through now?
Yeah, but see, I think that's a good part of the story when we said they, because let's use the example of reparations. If reparations were allowable, then we would run into the truth. The truth is all of us in this room would run into the question, who would actually be the recipient of the reparations? Because all of us, quite honestly, in the United States are mongoloid. We've got everything in our blood. So if that is the case, then who would actually be the beneficiary? Now, that's the one part. The second part would be who then, all of those Union soldiers died to get rid of slavery. So is it fair that although they died to get rid this country of slavery, to have to not include them in reparations is a double slap on the back? They lost their lives already. So to say that now they are not recipients of reparations, although they're white, is that also not unfair?
Then we have to go back to Africa to start, because they sold us.
See,
and so you got all these different players coming in here, and a lot of times we don't like to acknowledge the fact that slavery in America started with the transatlantic.
Correct. All the way back before, yes.
Yeah, and so we got to acknowledge the truth, and because you can't change history again, you can deny it, you cannot say anything about it, you can skip it.
Correct.
But you can't change it.
But you can't change it.
Right? History is history. And so if you'd like to get in on the conversation, 478-250-1444, 250-1444. And we're here with Reverend Warren Hamilton and retired Brigadier General Historian, Reverend Jonathan McCallion. I'm Don Reed here. And we just having a little open conversation. And we do thank God for how he has brought us as African-American people a mighty long way.
That's right.
And, we, at least I do, I thank the Lord for
I agree. So let's throw another question out there. Let's talk about, since we've got some powerful men of God here. What is the pastor's role then, regardless of the color of the skin? What is the pastor's role in ensuring that that there is a collection of cultural immersion coming together? Are pastors responsible for that? Is that consistent with the works of Christ, with the works of having a biblical worldview, or should the different pastors from different cultures push different things in a way that kind of holds that the mantra that racism, that slavery, there's a possibility of slavery still looming. An example, one of the presidents, guys running for the president in times past, made the statement, they're gonna put y'all back in chain. Now, something like that, it seems like it was divisive in knowing that there is no way that anybody can go back in chains or be placed in slavery again, because we have the 13th Amendment that forever abolished slavery. So sometimes I think we provoke each other to think harm about each other as a result of our thoughts. What's the pulpit's position on all of this?
Well, the pulpit position is just preach the Bible. The Bible going to give people a biblical worldview, and as they begin to develop this biblical worldview, then they'll have a higher view of people, and they won't see them as less than. They'll see them as equal to, and The Bible is a great liberator. It'll bring black and white together.
Right.
Yeah, it'll bring. I'm saying black and white, but you got all other cultures too.
Right.
I'm not trying to dismiss those cultures, but the scriptures just preach the Bible. And Christianity has a great way of bringing people together. I mean, you got a lot of African American people right here making go to white churches.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, there's a cemetery up there on Mercer where black folk used to be buried, but now they're buried up there.
Yeah.
So, things have changed some, and we still got a long way to go. But nevertheless, one of the things I take issue with is people say, I want a colorblind society. I don't want to be colorblind. Do you want to be colorblind?
No.
I don't either. I want, because I was telling the guys, when you get to heaven, you're going to be black. No, I ain't. Yes, she is. God's not going to whitewash it when you get to heaven. Otherwise, nobody going to recognize you. But see, if that's true, and it's true, okay, I'm going to be black when I get to heaven. It's not going to make a difference.
Not going to make a difference. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now, so Christians need to get to the point where we show the world that color does not make a difference.
I really like that.
Okay.
Underscore that.
Now, I want you to be black and love you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be white and I love you. Asian and love you. Because, see, in this room in here, they got different colors. You got red, you got blue, you got white. Mm-hmm. God, when you're talking about the biblical God, mm-hmm. He has aesthetics, color. He put green leaves.
Mm-hmm. Rainbow,
mm-hmm. Brown dirt, black dirt, mm-hmm. White sand, all of that. That's color. You got mm-hmm. color. When you go in your house, when you leave the station, you go in your house, your wife got colors, right? Now, why would you want to have color and then you be colorblind?
Yeah.
That don't make no sense.
At all.
Right? All right. So as Christians, we ought to love people regardless of color.
I think so.
Exactly. And let me say this. And I'm going to say this, man. I might be saying it wrong, but you said the Bible is our, wouldn't you say the Bible is our guide, our example?
Right.
Well, John 3:16 says, God so loved the world. He didn't say black, white,
right,
that he gave his only begotten son.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That means for everybody.
Everybody.
The world means everybody.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of color.
Right.
That's right.
So I'm going to stand on the word of God.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I will say this. A lot of times we want to change things to fit our, I guess, intelligence level or way we think it should be. But we got to stand with both feet on the word. Mm-hmm. And God said he loved the world.
He loved the world, right.
That's a done deal in my book.
Yeah, right.
White, black, Chinese, whatever.
Yeah, just people in general. I don't have to know you to appreciate and value you as a human.
Yeah, I tell you what, I know Reverend, you served also, and Pastor, you almost served.
Yeah, I was real hurt when they stopped the war in '75.
I know you would. I would have.
But the one thing that commanders and leaders in the military learn, that the only thing that matters is that your weapons are facing the same direction. That means out in front of you, and your weapons are not aimed at each other. So Juneteenth is also a reminder that we need to turn our weapons away from each other and retrace our weapons on the enemies of the United States, whether that could be a philosophy or other countries that could be harmful to us. But we right now, maybe we have our weapons are too much focused on each other and not focused on the things that can harm us the most. What do you think about that?
That's because, as Reverend Hamilton was saying, they're not teaching enough history. A lot of kids don't know what African Americans have gone through
Yes.
in times past, and how he's brought us, as old folks say, from a mighty long way. I remember the white water fountain, colored water fountains. I remember those days, and but God has brought us from that, and woe to us if we go back to that kind of foolishness.
Right.
And the way we do that is we got to value human life. God values human life because He made us. We came from one man. Acts 17:25. He made us all from one Adam.
Right.
Okay. All of us came from one man, Adam and his sons. And so we just need to, get our bearings back the way it should be.
Agreed.
Okay. And start looking at people with human dignity and human value. You see, I can disagree with either one of you brothers without being disagreeable.
And that is, which is very important, by the way.
Yeah, I can still eat with you if you disagree with me. You say, well, I don't agree with it. That's fine, but let's have some of this fish over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
I can still eat with you. I'm not gonna fall out with you because
that's right.
You disagree. That's your right. And sometimes we learn when others disagree. I remember when I did a paper for one of my professors, and I disagreed with his position on something, and he changed. I thought, my goodness, if that little paper did that to him.
That's right.
But but you got to be willing to change. When your position that you're holding is no longer tenable.
Right.
Okay. And don't be so dogmatic about it and be angry about it. I like to discuss biblical subjects, and people say, well, what about this here? What about that there? So it forces me to think.
Yeah, that is correct.
About it, and so it's very profitable to have someone who can challenge you on certain things, so that well, have you looked at it this way?
I agree with you. So, yeah.
You need to think about it this way over here, and one of the things that I did learn in grad school or seminary, if you disagree with the writer, say for instance, they told us to do a paper on a subject. If you disagree with the subject, say, be fair. Be fair to the person viewpoint that you're critiquing.
Right.
Be fair to his position first. Now, once you are fair to his position, you cited his position. This is what he believes. This is what he's talking about. Now show where you disagree. Okay. Because even in his position, some of his position, you may have some good final points, some points in there that, okay, well, this is pretty good here. However, when you get down here,
that's a good technique that leads to eating sweet potatoes afterwards, because if you can fairly deal with someone and then you can say we agree to disagree without vehement, without poison, you can say this, but you can learn something also if you're willing.
I say just that.
And I think you indicated that you can, if you learn. Now you can't. Now you got to make sure that you've done a little bit of homework before you raise the ire of your concern.
Just disagree, just to be disagreeing.
Right.
Why do you disagree with this? And have a good explanation as to why. And it's all right. I tell my students, sometimes I say, look, I think that this is what this text is saying.
Pastor.
Yeah.
I have yet to see you give us any biblical that was not correct. You need to stop that. This man is awesome when it comes to this book, the Bible.
No, but what I'm saying is, you do run through some text, some text that'll give you some problems, some thorny, some thorny issues. And sometimes it's hard to reconcile that. So I never forget, I was in Professor Pentecost's class, and a question was asked him, and And I think what blessed me more was when he said, I can't answer that.
By the way, was his name Pentecost for real?
Yeah, J.D. White Pentecost.
Okay, Pentecost.
J.D. White Pentecost wrote many books.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
Hey,
your dad was teaching through one of his books when I went to the church there in that Millersville, things which come sound doctrine. But, that helped me. You don't need, and he said, listen, if I knew every answer, I'd be God, but I'm not him. And so, he had been teaching 40 years at the time I got the chance to study with him. And, he just came to class with a Bible in his hand, opened up the text, and just blew us away. And, he was asked us to write a paper on whether there were two new covenants or one new covenant, and yada, yada, yada. And I took the position there was one new covenant, and he took the position of two new covenants. So I had to be fair to his position. And then I critiqued his position based on what I understood the scripture. And he gave me an A.
See, let me say this now. I shouldn't say this, man, but I'm going to say it anyway. I've yet asked you a question, and you give me the answer and don't give me the chapter and verse. And you can't argue with that. If I ask you a question and you tell me and leave it at that, no, you don't do that, Reverend. You say, go to so and so and so and so, and there it is, clear as day.
Well, you got to validate your position. You just can't just say, well,
that's what you taught me.
Yeah, you got to validate it from the scripture. Otherwise, you just into the area
blowing air.
My opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. And listen, there's nothing wrong with telling people this is my opinion based on my understanding of this text.
Yes.
Okay. Which means I'm still trying to get a grasp of it, because when you do get into the Greek and the Hebrew language and you get into some of the linguistic analysis of these words, sometimes your position you came in with is, shattered.
And sometimes I still be wrong because I misinterpreted it.
And so, look, and that's the whole point of the whole discussion. Isn't that amazing that no matter what the subject is, that it's important that before you raise your eyebrows, before you raise your sand, before you throw a few choice words out, make sure that when you're even on, especially matters that are sensitive, things that are sometimes things about race are quite sensitive to people. And you got to back off and say, what am I saying? And is this the truth? And when you ask yourself the same thing about scripture, is this true? And if we can do the same thing, I believe, with the things that people tell us, then things like events like Juneteenth and anything else becomes easy to deal with. Can somebody put you back in chains? What truth is in that? I've never been in chains, so why would somebody make the comment they're gonna put y'all back in chains?
It's been made though.
Yeah, but it can't happen.
It's not gonna happen either.
It's not gonna happen. So it's not a fact. That's what I mean. So when you come to the table with the discussion, and you come with facts, you gotta have something to have a discussion with someone, so people aren't arguing at each other, and you can't even hear each other, not listening and paying attention to each other.
Well, what are some of those Juneteenth celebrations that are? I know they normally have something here in Macon every year. I missed it last year.
I did too.
Yeah, and one year I was walking downtown. My wife and I, we were going to have a late lunch and dinner at down there on Martin Luther King. It's no longer there, the restaurant, and so I was noticing that downtown was full of cars everywhere. I didn't know what was going on. It was jam-packed. I had to park up by the Presbyterian church up there, the Methodist church, and walk all the way down, across the street with the Douglas and over there by the Sports Hall of Fame. So I'm just walking, right? We were going to get us a nice meal, and I heard something going on. It ain't gonna hurt nobody to get on down. I heard this music, right? That's my era, back in the 70s. So I walked up to one of the brothers. I said, man, who that band up there playing Brick song? He said, that's Brick. I said, honey, let's get a hot dog. That was funny. But it's good to celebrate.
Yeah.
You know, our history.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that many of you will be involved in some of the festivities and activities this weekend for Juneteenth, and appreciate how the Lord has brought us from a mighty long way, and help these young people to understand.
That's who we got to reach.
Yeah, because too many of them are killing one another.
That's true.
And we need to let them understand, you know, where we as a people have come from and through to get to where we are today. You know, because I remember the days you can go to an event and just have fun and go home. Everybody went home alive. You know, and we need to get back to that with young people.
I think so.
I think we ought to celebrate it. I think everybody should celebrate it.
Sure.
Because we come a long way and we got something to be thankful for. And it may not look like it, and it might not even feel like it, but things are getting better.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They are.
I believe that.
Because I can remember when I was young, we stayed in our neighborhood. You go outside the neighborhood, you might have a little problem. Okay. But things have changed for the better.
Yeah.
I thank God for it. I give him all the glory. But Juneteenth is very well, should be very well recognized and have a good time on that day and just be thankful.
Right.
Even like you, General said, you know, we got our problems, but America is still the greatest country on earth.
Yeah, people dying trying to get here.
And there are no fences to keep people from getting out.
Man, you can leave the country anytime you get ready.
Yeah. So look, we're celebrating. We'll talk about that much later on. We're celebrating 250 years, United States, 250 years old, and we're building up to that the next couple of weeks or so. But
the 4th of July.
4th of July coming up quickly in about 2 weeks. We had Flag Day last Sunday. That's why we're talking Juneteenth, and I trust that that Juneteenth will be a celebration of Americans, not just one color, one race, one culture, but everybody will participate. As it was a day of emancipation when people removed from slavery to freedom, and we none of us have served as slaves. So we can join in the celebration and be a part of this, and just thank God for the United States and moving forward, that it's not in that mindset from the 1800s. We're in a different mindset now, and we can do great things, and we need each other. We really, really, really need each other, and we can do more with each other than we can without each other. So I trust that we'll find ways to celebrate that as we get ready to go. I'm going to Moultrie again to celebrate that, and do an engagement there in Moultrie, Georgia.
That's my first time being there with you last year. I had never been to Moultrie. It's nice. I didn't realize how nice it was in that area down there.
Oh yeah.
Particularly driving, you know, see all the farmlands and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Back roads and stuff. It's amazing. This is a beautiful country.
Really is.
And because I like the country myself, be honest with you.
Me too.
Y'all can have it.
Look,
you don't like the country? I mean, I don't want no house.
If I had my brothers, if I had my brothers, I'd be in city. I'm a city boy.
Yeah, you're a city boy?
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the city too. You know, I grew up on 40 and Menard Street there my first 10 years of my life. In Macon, Georgia. Then I moved. My dad moved out to Finnerdale, where my mom still lives today, but all of my relatives are in the Fort Hill area. You know, most of them are. And, you know, we love to, Christmas Day, block off the street and get our roller skates and everything, and just have fun. And people in the neighborhood knew each other.
Yeah,
and the parents knew each other. We need to get back to that too, where we know each other. And listen, we thank all for listening. We thank one of the water board members, Elaine Lucas, for listening, and she sent a message, and she's going to send a full list of all the Juneteenth events, and I trust that you can catch some of them. I'm going to try to catch as many as I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
This year, because I really think it's important. So anyway, thank you so much for being here with us, and You got
Thank
it.
you for joining the Issues of Life broadcast with your host, Evelyn Reid. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday from 4:15 to 4:45 p.m. as she addresses the health, religious, and political issues that our communities face daily, right here on the Glory 107.9 FM, 980 AM, WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the